evening. Welcome to Bebus channel, English section. I'm Imtiaz Patel, Varediawala. I'm one of the hosts of the English section. Bebus is brought to you by the Community Media Centre, Bolton, UK. And as the name suggests, it is the channel for communication, it is the channel for conversation, and it is the channel for our interactions with each other. This program, what we call Hello, Can You Hear Me? The program is about political matters, political issues, and UK politics. However, before we move on, I would just like to say that welcome to this program. As I said on behalf of Bebus, welcome to our listeners and viewers. As a community, we share certain common concerns. We face certain challenges. We are interested in common issues for concerns. Bebus aims is to give a voice and platform to all of this. We would look at the issues, we would examine the issues, and we will discuss these issues in the details with experts, and hopefully we would try to come up with solutions. So the whole point of Bebus community channel is to provide a discussion forum, to provide a platform, and to provide a voice to the community, so then at the end of the day we can talk to each other on respective subjects and come up with mutual solutions, and hopefully that way we will increase the interactions and dialogues and discussions amongst ourselves. As I said, welcome to this program called Hello, Can You Hear Me? It's a political program about elections, local elections as well as general elections. And we would like to welcome to our studio our distinguished guests, Mr. Alan Johnson, who represents Green Party. He is a parliamentary candidate, South East Bolton. At the same time, he is also standing up for local councillors from Romworth, ward. Before I invite Mr. Alan Johnson in terms of questions and discussion and debate, on behalf of Bebus, we would like to make an announcement that from 6 till 7, we invited UKIP parliamentary candidate Mr. Jeff Armstrong. But very unfortunately, on his way from London, he got stuck in the traffic, so he had to submit his last-minute apology. But however, we are in negotiation with him to reorganize his interview in our program called Hello, Can You Hear Me? So Mr. Jeff Armstrong has submitted his apology. We would also like to apologize to our listeners and viewers for not broadcasting that program as scheduled, because as I said, he got stuck in the traffic and he's still on his way from London to Bolton. But hopefully we will have an opportunity to speak to UKIP representative as well. Now, the elections are approaching very, very quickly. And as a voter, we all have certain questions and concerns in our minds and heart. This is an opportunity for us to elect what we call our appropriate representative, so it be local level or a national level. The question is, what are we looking for in this candidate? What sort of qualities we are looking in this candidate? Who aspires us to represent either in the parliament or either in the local council? Obviously, it has to be someone who is aware of our problems, who is aware of our concerns, and who is aware of our challenges, and who has got aspirations to work for the community members. It has to be someone who gives voice to our expectations and who meet up with our expectations as well. At Bebus, our policy is to remain absolutely neutral. Our task is to bring the candidate and the voters together to facilitate a dialogue and a discussion between them. This is the essence of the democracy, and this is the spirit of the democracy and spirit of the open society. We expect various candidates to tell us what their program is, what their agenda is, what they are planning to deliver at the end of the day, and then once he or she shares the information, we will leave it to the voters in terms of their appropriate, what we call informed choices. But we do not try to influence, or we do not try to take anybody's side, and we try to invite candidates from different political arena, from different political representations, so that our viewers, our listeners can get a very panoramic, very wide view in terms of what is available out there when it comes to electing a right representative for them, whether it's for local council or for parliamentary candidate. Now, as I said, we have got Mr. Alan Johnson from Green Party. Welcome to Beavers.
Welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
You're most welcome. So on behalf of Beavers channel and also on behalf of our viewers and listeners, you're most welcome. Now, what has happened that before we started this program, just before the election, we did what we call a small informal survey. So we invited our viewers and listeners to submit their statements about politics, about political representation. We invited people to submit their questions. So the questions I'm going to ask is what we call the standard questions that applies to each candidate who comes into the studio. And I hope that, as we go along, you would be able to respond to these questions. There may be one or two sub-questions as a result of our discussion and debate. It is purely for the point of view of not entering into any kind of controversy or any kind of sensitive issue, but just to provide voters what we call the accurate and what we call the enough information so they can make informed choices when it comes to political representation. So welcome, Mr. Alan Johnson. Would you like me to call you Mr. Alan Johnson, Mr. Johnson's Alan?
Alan would be fine.
You would be comfortable with that. So my first question is, can you tell us a little bit about your background in terms of your childhood, your early days, and your education?
Yeah, well, I was born more or less in the Dean area, actually. I went to Pikes Lane School, which is still there. Then, secondary level, I went to White Bank School, which is where Aswan Park Primary School is now. And later on it became part of Dean Base, which is now Ladybridge High School. I started work in 1964. I worked down the road here, which is where the Muslim Girls' School is, which was a structural steelworks called Robert Watson, and I served my time there. I became a skilled structural engineer.
Right. So, when did you started taking interest in politics? Was it early days? Was it at a later stage?
Yes, it was. It was because when I worked at Robert Watson's, and I was an apprentice, so we're going back to the mid to late 60s. And there was the first apprentice strike planned for further wages for apprentices. Apprentices at the time were paid very small in compared to these one when you serve your time kind of thing. So I took interest then, and I'll be about 16, 17. At the age of 21, I was elected as probably one of the youngest shop stewards, representing the Boiler Bakers Union. And it was around about that time, following on from the apprentices strike, which I don't think I remember. It's so long ago whether it was successful or not, but it made a point. And I became politically aware that there was something wrong and that working people needed unions, and we had to fight for better working conditions and better wages. So around about the late 60s, then I became politically aware.
Oh, I see. So we will talk about your political contribution and achievement later in the program. But our listeners and viewers would be very much interested to find out about your contribution so far you have made to community life in terms of improvement in community life, empowering people in respective areas. Would you share some of the examples with us, please?
I mean, I wouldn't describe myself as a politician. I would describe myself as a community activist, a political activist. I am involved in so many campaigns. Save the NHS, opposition to the bedroom tax, which is something that doesn't affect me, but I've supported the campaign. Anti-fracking campaigns. But on the NHS and the bedroom tax, I have taken it into the community I live in Dobble, with I spoke to people with leafleted outside the mosque, Randall Street Mosque and Zachariah Mosque, making people aware, the Muslim community aware of the problem or the potential dangers facing the NHS due to privatisation and what these Health and Social Care Act would mean. And obviously, people are concerned about the NHS because it's the jewel in the crown, and people are very proud of our NHS. So I'm very proud of it, and I want to maintain it as it is. It needs improving, but I'm totally opposed to privatisation of our National Health Service. Also, a few years ago, I got involved in a campaign to save High Street Library when the Labour Council did consider it for closure, and we did petition, and we did manage to save it because actually they wouldn't say whether but it was cited as one of 9 libraries that could close. In the end, I would like to think, because I and a lot of other people, and we did petition inside the mosque again, and got a lot of support, that the thousands of people who signed the petition saved High Street Library, which is still there now. So I feel proud that I've been involved in that campaign.
Sure, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Hello, Can You Hear Me? It's a political program on UK politics, and we have got Mr. Alan Johnsons on behalf of Green Party joining us in the studio. If you would like to make any comments, or if you would like to share your observations, reservations, or ask any questions, you can ring us on our studio number, which is UK 01204 435 825. You can also visit our website, which is www.britasianbuzz.com, and you can also follow us through and through with Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp. And before I put forward another questions to Alan, again I would like to remind our viewers and listeners that we have received unconditional, unreserved apology from Mr. Jeff Armstrong from UK Party. He was supposed to be with us between 6 and 7, again talking about UK politics and his party politics, but unfortunately he's got stuck in the traffic, so he has submitted his apology. But we are negotiating and reorganizing his interview, and we shall let you know in due course. Alan, with all respect, we have a Labour Party, well established, Conservative Party, well established, Liberal also has got its roots, and many other parties quite strongly established. There's a perception about Green Party that they are quite strong in what they believe, but however, can you tell us something more about Green Party in terms of its history and why Green Party, inverted comma, equally important and significant compared to other parties?
Yeah, well, the Green Party is obviously concerned about the environment, and we're concerned about climate change, but we're also concerned about social justice. And what we say is, people and planet before profit. And we say that if we don't treat people in a fair way, that then we will not treat the planet in a fair way. We don't respect people, all communities, then we won't respect our own planet, and it's important that we do look after our planet. On the question of we got Labour and Conservative, I'm just a matter of ago, but if we talk about Labour and Conservative, when I was a lot younger, in the 60s, 70s, even into possibly the 80s, 90% of the votes went to either Labour or Conservative. Between them, they got back. We're now moving into times where the votes for the two, what we call main parties, now gone down into the 60s. So what we're seeing here is that people are looking for other parties with other policies and solutions to our problems, and it's no coincidence that the Green Party in the past 12 months has tripled from 20,000 to 60,000 members, and that as reflected in the membership in Bolton.
Now, in terms of traditionally speaking and historically speaking, and again, I'm very careful here, I'm just following my script, and as a matter of information, and to put things in perspective, when Asian people started coming to Britain, as early as 1950s and 60s, traditionally they have been and historically attached with Labour Party.
Yeah.
And then the current research and survey indicates, if you look at it in The Guardian and BBC and so on and so forth, the trend of alliances of respective community, particularly Asian community, is slightly changing towards conservative and towards other party as well, of course, liberal and so on and so forth. Do you see that happening with Green Party?
I do see a shift within the Asian community. We've been had offers of help from the Asian community because I have seen a survey that something like possibly up to 20% of the Asian community might consider or could vote Green for the Green Party. We do accept that still, even yet, the Labour Party is, and I speak as someone who has been a past member of the Labour Party. I didn't like the direction that it was going in, and I was a member in the early 90s. So I do feel that something like the Labour Party might have lost its way a little bit. It's lost its soul and it's lost its heart. And I wasn't involved in politics for 10 years, and then I joined the Green Party because of the war in Iraq. And I felt that this was wrong, I got to oppose it, which I did do. I joined the Green Party. I considered joining George Galloway's Respect Party because I wanted to oppose the Iraq war and oppose Tony Blair's headlong rush to war.
Thank you. Now, the next question I have got here is, because this program will be watched after the election as well in many other countries, as Beaver's Community Media Centre, we have got system here and wonderful social media. People are watching our programs in UK and as far as India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, South Africa, you name it. The reason I'm going to include the next question, which wasn't in the original question, is that what is the difference between, because you are a councillor as well, or you are fighting?
No, I'm fighting.
You are fighting an election as a councillor,
yes,
and as a parliamentary candidate.
Yes.
So what sort of role councillor has got in order to serve the community, and what sort of role a member of parliament has got to serve the community, politically speaking?
Well, I think the role of a councillor is more community based. An MP should be based in the community, but you're more concentrated in the ward that you represent as a councillor. And I think it's vital that you know the ward and you know the problems in the ward and you know what people are looking for. And I think it's the time is now it's changing where people just vote on strict party lines, or I think people are looking for alternatives.
But is there a significant difference between
I think
role
there
of
is.
councillor and member of parliament?
I think you're more community based as a
councillor.
Yes,
and what about MP? What sort of roles?
And that's a wider role, but you've got a bigger community there. Because the Bolton South East covers 7 wards, especially from Runworth Ward over into Kersley Ward, which is, so it's a constituency is a massive responsibility, but nevertheless, you need to know what the problems are in each ward and each community.
Since you have mentioned about knowing people, their problems and situations, my next question would be on behalf of Beaver's listener and viewers. Can you mention 3 most important issues related to your constituency?
Which affects other constituencies. Well, the cutbacks, austerity. I think austerity is having a devastating effect on the constituency of Bolton South East. Lack of job opportunities, 0-hour contract, which is rife now because of what's been going on in the past 5 years, and more people on 0-hour contracts and on the minimum wage. My party is in favour of scrapping enforced. I must stress enforced. Because some people might like 0-hour contracts. I'm in my 60s, I'm still working, but I might want to reduce my hours, or I might want to work when I want to. But what we're talking about here is enforced 0-hour contracts. And I'm thinking about the young people, and I'm thinking about the prospect for young people in Bolton South East. I'm a grandfather of a 17-year-old grandson, And I look at the opportunities that are there now in comparison to when I left school, when there were many opportunities. If I wanted to go to university, I could have got a grant, tuition fees, which has been brought in by the last coalition government. Well, tuition fees, first of all, brought in by the last Labour government, unfortunately, but tripled by this coalition. Now, my party is in favour of scrapping tuition, and education will be paid through by general taxation. We believe education is a right and it's not a privilege, and you shouldn't need to buy it. The other areas that, the infrastructure in both counties, demolition sites that have been left for years, and I get people coming to me and saying, and we've tried to look it through. I've approached Bolton Council, there's a few sites around here that really need tidying up, or some developer coming in. We really need affordable social housing. We're so short of affordable housing for our young people. My party on that one, a place to build 500,000 new homes, social homes, affordable homes, by 2020. What contributed to that was Margaret Thatcher's right to buy in the council, which took thousands of houses off the housing stock. And now this government, if they get elected, the Tories are proposing the right to buy in housing association houses, which really, that's fine if we're building enough property. So for me, the three is education, job opportunities and I'm looking, because I've been with six, I'm looking for the future for our young people, and somewhere to live. Everyone deserves a decent home to live in, an affordable home to live in.
I think you have partly responded to my question, that you have highlighted the problems around education, job opportunity, living good conditions, and cutbacks. But the next question would be how you are planning to resolve these issues on behalf of your party.
Well, first of all, we're opposed to austerity. We're an anti-austerity party. It's fair to say that we will be the only anti-austerity party contesting these elections, because all the other parties are pro-austerity to some degree. We're talking austerity heavy with some parties, or austerity light. Needless to say, whether it's light or heavy, austerity damages people and it hurts people. And I work in social care. I was in engineering, I'm now in social care, and I've seen what cutbacks have done to social care. A civilised country, it should be, the measure of a civilised country is how we treat our sick, our elderly, and our disabled.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Hello, You Can Hear Me. It's Abiba's UK program on UK politics, and we have got Alan Johnson on behalf of Green Party with us in the studio. If you would like to raise any questions, if you want to ask any questions, if you would like to share your opinions, any feedback, you can ring us on our studio number, which is UK 01204 435 825, or you can visit our website, which is www.britasianbuzz.com, or you can follow us or send your comments through Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp as well. I have got a couple of questions for Alan before we end this program. And once again, apology in terms of the earlier program, which was supposed to be broadcasted with the member of UKIP, Mr. Jeff Armstrong, but he got stuck in the traffic. We will reorganize that interview, and hopefully we'll bring more representations from the other party, including UKIP as well. Alan, can you give our viewers and listeners 3 good reasons why they should consider voting for you and for your party?
Because we've got an alternative. We've got an alternative vision, which is unlike the other parties. As I've said, the austerity question. Austerity over the past 5 years have failed. It's a failed model. The deficit has not been reduced. The deficit is still as big as it was. and the deficit was caused by it. And I want to set the record straight, and I'm not just supporting the last Labour government here, but when you see the opposition or the people who are in government blaming what went on before, that they overspent, I think that's total nonsense. In my view, and my party view, they didn't spend enough on public services. The reason we've got a deficit is because the banking crisis of 2008. Us taxpayers had to bail the banks out to the tune of £1.4 trillion. It's no coincidence that the deficit is still roughly, and I think it's slightly over £1.4 trillion.
Okay. The last question is young people and politics. More and more young people are getting disconnected with a lot of things, and one of the main area of concern is they are getting disconnected with politics as well. What sort of strategy you have in place for young people to either reconnect or get connected with politics?
Well, I think I've said some of it already. I think that we really, we need to give hope to our young people. I spoke at the Nostins 2 or 3 weeks ago at the Bolton Sixth Form College. And it was packed. Half of the audience were old enough to vote, the other half were. Tomorrow I'm speaking at the Bolton Muslim Girls' School. Even though they won't be old enough to vote, I'm hoping that I can give them what the Green Party stands for and help them to re-engage. I think people are dissatisfied with what's going on, and it's not just the younger people, but older people, but younger people. Seeing what is going on, and I think young people have not got a lot of hope, and we need to put hope back into young people. As though there's nothing to strive for, and I think they've been badly let down by what we call the old parties, and I think my party's got something new to offer, and the respect for our planet, and it's vital that we need to tackle climate change, and we need to invest in renewable energy. If we look at Germany, they get a greater percentage of their energy through solar power, but they've got a government that has got the political will to invest in solar power. And solar power ultimately will reduce energy bills, and also my party believes in insulating every home. We've talked about energy efficiency, which will lower carbon emissions. But going back to the question on young people, we must give them hope. And I think my party can provide people with hope, and of all ages.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alan Johnson. We must give hope to young people. We must give hope to everybody. And this was the spirit. We have discussed these topics with Alan Johnson. He has rolled out his party policies and his commitment for his constituency if he gets elected to deliver on the various subjects as we have discussed. We would like to thank on behalf of Beavers, viewers, listeners and the entire team in the studio to Alan Johnson for coming to our studio and for providing us his valuable time and hopefully some useful information to our viewers and listeners who would be able to make their informed choices when the right time comes to elect the right representative. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Imtiaz Patel Varediawala. This was the program on Hello, Can You Hear Me? Political programs on UK politics. Next time, with another guest, another political representatives, we will bring you more information on UK politics. Till then, you look after yourself and thank you for watching this program. Wherever you are, be happy and make other people happy. Thank you.